after putting an analysis services database into production, we should make a backup for disaster recovery. But backups are also a useful way to move databases from one server to another. For example, we might want to process a database on one server and then make it available on another server for querying. Or we might want to place a copy on multiple servers to spread the query load across multiple servers. Whatever the reason, there's more than one way to move our database. Backup and restore is a simple method to use. An advantage here is that we don't have to add yet another operation to our normal routine. We should already be performing a backup each time we do processing. If we have a large database, we can get our database back into working order much more quickly with a backup than by doing a full process if we have to redeploy from the analysis services project files. Another advantage is that if we're distributing the database to multiple servers, we can get one backup and make as many copies as we need, and then distribute each copy to a separate server. One thing that's important to understand is that during the restore process, users cannot query the database. We perform backups at the database level, and the contents of the backup depend upon what storage mode you're using. If you're using rollup, then the backup only includes metadata. And if you're using wholeup, then it includes both metadata and aggregations. Your most comprehensive backup is for moleup databases. So the backup includes metadata, aggregations, and the data. Then we have the synchronize option. Synchronization assumes we have one server where we host the original database, and we have a second server set up as a synchronized copy. We run a synchronize command on the first server, and Analysis Services compares the two databases to determine what's different. If they're not identical, synchronization updates the second server, but it only sends the changes. Now, the number of changes will, of course, affect performance. On the other hand, users can query a database during synchronization, unlike the restore process. That said, when synchronization completes, the server does switch out the older version of the database that's being used to support those queries, and it replaces it with the updated version. And that process does not take long, but during that period, no queries are permitted. Then we have the detach and attach method. With this method, we start with a database on a server, and we use a detach command. We can then move the database files to another server where we can attach it. And this is a very fast way to make a database available. We can also put the database in read-only mode and have multiple servers attach the same database. That's useful when we want to scale out our solution and distribute the query load across multiple servers.